Welcome to the Richard Sherman podcast, brought to you by The Volume. Follow me all year long for the best content in the NFL. Make sure you subscribe. Talk to you soon.
Let's get into the season a little bit. You know, we've made it almost all the way through training camp.
Jimmy G still or not? Oh, wait. Oh,
Jimmy,
sorry, Mitch.
I'm going to start right there. Let's start in the NFC West. Let's start with your two former teams, the Seattle Seahawks and most notably the San Francisco 49ers. Let's start right there. Let's start with Jimmy G and the quarterback situation with the 49ers.
Well, I think it is the best case scenario for everybody involved. I think it's one of those situations where somebody for the first time ever had their cake and got to eat it too. Like, what are we dealing with? And then there are people complaining saying, hey, it's so terrible for Trey Lance. But they were the same people that were sitting there like, well, what happens if Trey Lance isn't ready? What happens if he gets hurt? Then you got nobody. You're out there with somebody who's pretty good. No, you got Jimmy G, who would have been the number one backup to any other quarterback in this league, except he's a starter. He's a guy who just went to the NFC Championship last year. There is no other backup quarterback in the National Football League right now who could say that. I mean, you got a situation in Carolina where you're paying two guys over $15 million, and there's questions whether either of them can get the job done. Like, there's definitely questions on whether either of those guys can get them to a Super Bowl, but then you got people complaining about a situation where they have two guys that they believe can get them there.
Richard, you've said it. Like, he is the consummate pro. He's one of the best teammates you've ever played with. We've talked about this on and off air. This speaks to who Jimmy G is as a professional. I mean, he's done this throughout his entire career. When you signed with the 49ers, I thought you were batshit crazy. I thought you were absolutely nuts. You told me, Mitch, Jimmy G is going to win the 49ers a title. And I said, Richard, are you insane? And then what do you know? I mean, granted, you guys didn't win.
We were 7 minutes away.
But you were in the position to win it. And now the 49ers are in a what you call championship window at this moment. I think everyone and their mother is aware of that. Why not keep the guy around to hedge your bet in the event Trey fails?
Well, exactly. Why not have two engines? Hey, I got a Ferrari and I just got this freaking brand new engine, 700 horsepower. Now I got another engine that's about 500 horsepower. I know I've had it for years. I know exactly what I get, but this one can really take me there. Now, I don't know if it's going to blow out on the road. I don't know if it's going to slow down. I don't know if a piston's going to go out. I don't know what's going to happen, but I know it's faster. So they put that engine in. So why not keep the other one? You don't have to throw the other one away. If you can afford to keep both, then you keep both. Jimmy's happy with it. Trey's happy with it. The only people that aren't happy with it are the people on the outside. They're like, oh, what if they don't do well? Well, what if they do well? What if they go undefeated in the first 5 games and he's not looking over his shoulder and they're just supporting each other like great teammates? The thing about this 49ers team that nobody's mentioning, it's a team full of great people. That's the part you're not mentioning. Like, these aren't selfish people. You don't hear about a lot of me guys in that locker room. And Jimmy's the last one who would be that way. So they think about team, teammate, then self. So people are like, why isn't Jimmy saying something? Why isn't he getting upset? Why isn't he saying trade me and do all this? Because the philosophy is team, teammate, self. Self is third. When you teach that philosophy and you have that culture, then guys aren't thinking me first. Hey, if this is what's best for the team, this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to wait for my opportunity. If my opportunity comes, I'm going to step up and do what I need to do to help my guys get to another Super Bowl.
And Richard, you were a part of that. And again, when you went to San Fran, leaving Seattle, which was another family-focused organization, obviously treated everyone amazingly there. But when you went to San Francisco, it was that same type of organization. It honestly blew me away. I know that you loved Kyle Shanahan's coaching philosophy, similar to Pete Carroll's. The best man plays. It doesn't matter whether you pay D Ford $20 million a year as your defensive end, the best man plays. And that competition that is bred throughout training camp and practice, I know ignites your competitive fire. It doesn't matter if you're fourth on the depth chart or first, you're always playing for your job. And Richard, I mean, here we go again. Trey Lance and Jimmy G are now going to be competing on a day in, day out basis. and we're going to see who provides them the best opportunity to win. It could
But
be worse, Rich.
but see,
It could be
that's where I
worse.
disagree, because they're not going to be competing. It's Trey's job. It's Trey's job, and that's what makes the dynamic easier for everybody. It's Trey's job. Kyle established that at the beginning of training camp. He established that in the middle of training camp. He reestablished it last week. Like, it's Trey's job. Jimmy's the backup. When you establish that, then there isn't the uncertainty. There isn't the drama. There isn't the whispers. Now, sure, there's human nature. There's human nature with everybody. You can speculate human nature to the end of time. Like, hey, if he misses Kittle on this route, or Debo gets upset, or Brandon Ayuk isn't getting the ball as much. What if that happens and Jimmy's playing? Like, if was a fifth, we'd all be drunk, blackout drunk. We'd be on the sidewalk, strung out. Like, ain't no ifs. Great teammates. They're going to support the guy as they have been. Things aren't going to go perfect. There will be adversity. There will be ups. There will be downs. They will support each other. Jimmy will support Trey. Trey will support Jimmy. The offense, the weapons they have. You got Trent Williams. You got leadership. You got a foundation on that team that can weather the storm that will be the media more than it will be the team.
The human highlight reel, Trent Williams himself. Now, Richard, let's just kind of get into some predictions leading into the season. We're going to stay in the NFC West. Who do you think comes out of that division, arguably the best division in football?
San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco 49ers come out of that division, in my humble opinion.
Why not the Rams, I think, is the glaring question there.
Well, because the Rams are 1-6 against San Francisco 49ers, and dropped interception away from being 0-7.
Fair enough.
In the last 7 meetings. And that's going to be tough to overcome. I mean, the NFC, they won the one that they needed. They won the NFC Championship to go to the Super Bowl. If you could have any one, I'm sure both teams would have just picked that one. I just don't see them beating them consistently this year, and because San Francisco has arguably gotten better.
Let's then move down south, NFC South. You've got an old team there too in the Tampa Bay Bucks. Talk about that division. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that you're going to pick the Bucks to win the division. So let's just get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Talk about that team. What do you see their record being?
I think 13-4 is what they're going to consistently be at for most people. I mean, 12-5 maybe, with the O-line situation being kind of in flux. They're losing the center a week, it seems like. That's going to matter. They've had some continuity on the offensive line for the last, at least Tom's time there, and losing Ryan Jensen early on in training camp, and his backups being a little beat up already. It's going to leave some question marks. So if they can find a way to solidify that the inside of that offensive line, then I think they're 13-4. No questions about it. They have enough talent on defense. Shaq Barrett is a monster. You got Devin White. You got guys all over on all 3 levels of the defense. Levante David, Carlton Davis, who just signed a big deal. You got Winfield Jr. You got so many guys who can make plays and make a difference on that defense and offensively. I mean, Quintorris, Julio Jones, you're not going to want for a receiver from that group. You got 3,000-yard receivers. You got Rudolph, who's not Gronk. Nobody's Gronk, but he's a big body that Tom Brady can use in the situations in the same ways that he was able to use Gronk if he can teach him, And in the running game, Lenny Fournette is going to do what he's done for them for the last couple of years, is be incredibly consistent in both aspects of the game.